GK Chesterton writes a little bit about children and how we deal with the, quote, practical problem of children. A lot of people, the modern people, he said, propose to get rid of babies or the problem of babies in one of typically three modern ways. One is to say that there shall be no babies. This suggestion may be addressed to the individual, but it is addressed to every individual. Another is that the father should instantly send the babies, especially if they are boys, to a distant and inaccessible school with bounds like a prison, that the babies may become men in a manner that is considered impossible in the society of their own father. But this is rapidly ceasing to be a modern method, and even the moderns have found that it is rather behind the times. The third way, which is unimpeachably modern, is to imitate Rousseau, who left his baby on the doorstep of the foundling hospital. It is true that among the moderns, it is generally nothing so human or traditional as the foundling hospital. The baby is to be left on the doorstep of the State Department for Education and Universal Social Adjustment. In short, these people mean, with various degrees of vagueness, that the place of the family can now be taken by the state. And then he talks a little bit more about like birth control and birth control methods and arguments that justify it. And then he's talking about the drifting centralization of our time. The hospital has been enlarged into the school and then into the state, not the guardian of some abnormal children, but the guardian of all normal children. Modern mothers and fathers of the emancipated sort could not do their quick change acts of bewildering divorce and scattered polygamy if they did not believe in a big benevolent, capital G, grandmother who could ultimately take over 10 million children by very grandmotherly legislation. He is just talking about the modern notion about the state and how the state looks, quote unquote, looks after you. And he's saying that's not really true. So, yeah. And he says, but the traditions of humanity support humanity, and the central one is this tradition of marriage. So there are a lot of traditions, but he is speaking specifically to marriage. He goes into that and talks a little bit about the institution itself. And I'll read it really quickly. He says, and the essential of it is that a free man and a free woman choose to found on earth the only voluntary state, the only state which creates and which loves its citizens. So long as these real responsible beings stand together, they can survive all the vast changes, deadlocks, and disappointments which make up more political history. But if they fail each other, it is as certain as death that, quote unquote, the state will fail them.